Hi, my name is David Rippy. I am a certified hypnotherapist. This is the chapter, Consort to the King and San Pedro Juice, in my book, Meeting Jesus. Enjoy.
Consort to the King and San Pedro Juice. This client is a 29-year-old female who wanted to do a past life regression and had questions concerning this life. She specifically wanted to find out if the reading would provide answers as to why she was unable to complete a shamanic ceremony ritual, which required drinking San Pedro juice. On her trip to Peru several months earlier, she found herself violently ill when she attempted to drink the cactus juice. This was an important ceremony for her to complete to advance her standing within her shamanic group. David, when I count from 3 to 1, I want you to drift down deeper and deeper. As you get closer to where you're going, the images are going to open even more. You're going to be able to recall greater details, why you're here and why this is important to you now. I am going to count down to 2, and you are feeling relaxed and happy inside. As I count down to 1, I want you to take me to where you are and tell me what you see. Subject, I was walking down a hallway. I can hear my footsteps echoing in this big space. David, describe the space. What does it look like? Subject, it feels like a church. It looks like like an abbey, old stone walls, arches, columns. And David, do you see a lot of other people around? Subject, so very powerfully entering my field of vision is the Alhambra in Spain. Author's note, the Alhambra is a palace and fortress located in Granada, Spain. It was originally constructed as a small compound in AD 889 on the remains of Roman fortifications. It fell into disrepair until the mid-13th century when it was restored. It was converted into a royal palace in the 1330s by Yusuf I, Sultan of Granada. He was the first in a string of Muslim emirs in Spain during the decline of the Nasrid dynasty. David, what is that? Subject, in southern Spain is a Moorish palace. I know I've lived here before. David, you see yourself in a castle or a palace and you think you lived there before. Is that correct? Subject, yes. David, I want you to walk around. What city or town in this near? Subject, Granada. David, do you see yourself? Are you male or female? Subject, female. David, female. How old? Subject, a woman does not reveal her age, laughter. David, what color is your hair? Subject, dark. David, how tall are you? Subject, I don't know, like 5'4" or 5 feet 8 inches. David, you think you're 5'4" or 5 feet 8 inches, which one? Subject, I think more like 5 feet 8 inches. Yes, with more certainty. David, do you have heels on? Subject, barefoot. David, barefoot. So you are tall. What was your name? Subject, long pause as, it's like Ilara. David, is that your first name? Subject, yes. David, what's the first letter? Tell me that. Subject, I. David, and what's the next letter? Subject, H. David, what's after H? Subject, L. David, what's after L? Subject, A or U. David, A or U and what else? Subject, RAH. David, and what does it mean in Spanish? I assume it's in Spanish. Subject, it's Arabic. David, it's Arabic, okay. What does it mean in Arabic? Subject, mumbling, I believe it's just a name. David, as you're sitting there and enjoying the view and looking around, what do you do in that life? What's your occupation? Subject, I'm a kept woman. Not married. David, what else? Are you considered attractive? Subject, yes, extremely beautiful. David, where do you live? Subject, I live in this palace in my own tower. David, did you like living there? Did you enjoy that life? Subject, yes. There's something, not feeling fully empowered but very well taken care of. David, what year was this? What time period? Subject, I see, like Arabic script. David, you have to convert it from Arabic script into English or Roman numerals. Does it feel like 1800s? 1900s? Subject, no, like, I don't know, 1500s, 1600s. David, it feels like it's back in the 1500s or the 1600s. Narrow that down for me. What's closer? Subject, 1500 is closer than 1600. David, do you see a year now if you concentrate on the last two numbers? Look past the 15. What are the two numbers after 15? Subject, 46. David, you think it could have been around 1546? Does that sound good? Subject, yes. David, you're a kept woman. What was the name of the person who owned the palace where you stayed? Was he well known? Subject, yes, he was a king. David, he was a king. What did his name start with? What would be the first letter? Subject, king. David, if you had to see letters in your mind, what does his name start with? What's the first letter? Subject, M. David, the first letter is M. What's the second letter? Subject, the name that comes in is, Muhammad. David, you're seeing Muhammad in your mind? Subject, Muhammad, yeah. David, do you see a last name? What would be his last name if you had to pronounce it in Arabic? Subject, Al Jazeera. David, give me that first part. Is it a J in the second part? Subject, yes. David, and then what's the next letter? Subject, David, and then what? Subject, Z. David, keep going. Subject, E, another R and an A. David, did you like this man? Subject, yes. David, did he treat you well? Subject, yes. David, were you the only one of his kept women, or did he have others? Subject, he had others, but I was his favorite. David, he liked you the most? Subject, yes. David, was it because you were beautiful, or because you two talked on occasion? Subject, we talked. David, did you speak any other languages besides Arabic? Subject, some Spanish. David, anything else? Subject, some English. David, how long do you see yourself staying in the palace? Did you stay? Subject, I just stayed. David, did you grow old with this person? Subject, well, I wasn't with. It was like I became a nurse. Ended up, after the days of providing physical pleasure were past, I became a caretaker and an attendant. David, oh, okay. So, you went out and helped other people? Subject, no, it was still to the king and the queen. David, oh, you helped the king and queen as a caretaker? Subject, yes. David, describe that to me. Subject, I'm seeing a scene of a lot of lush velvets and attending to a feverish elderly man, and his queen is sitting nearby and showing such devotion and love and such decadence everywhere. David, did you enjoy taking care of the king? Subject, yes. He was like God. David, was he one of the top rulers in the Arabic world? Subject, yes, he built this palace he brought it to completion. David, how big was this palace? Subject, huge. You could ride horses through the hallways. David, that must have been neat to see. Did you have a lot of fun living there? Subject, yes. David, what was the name of the palace? Subject, the Alhambra. David, was it also a city? Like a big city palace state? Subject, yes, I guess so. David, what does Alhambra mean? How do you spell it? Subject, Alhambra. David, that's what that area was known as. And what year was it again? Subject, 1546. David, let's go later in the king's life. How long did he live? Subject, he was in his 80s, 88. David, did everyone still like him at this time? Subject, no. David, why was that? Subject, he made a lot of unpopular decisions in his life. David, tell me about those. Were there any that cost him dearly? Subject, he was a very rash man. Made a lot of extreme decisions and expended a lot of lives in his wars. In his old age, he became quite wise, but nobody listened anymore. But I did. David, did you still like and adore him? Subject, yeah. David, you had a very close bond, even though you weren't the queen. Subject, yes. David, describe the queen. Subject, she was also very beautiful, very stoic. David, how old was she when she died? Subject, long pause, around 60. She was much younger than him. David, how old were you when you died? Do you see your death? Take me to that scene. Subject, I died in my sleep in my room. And my hair has a little gray in it, but not too old. David, how old were you? Subject, just shy of my 74th birthday. That feels too old. Maybe younger. David, you didn't like to reveal your real age. Subject, yes. David, perhaps you were 74, but you don't want to admit to that. Subject, yes. David, now you're seeing your death. You died in your sleep, that sounds nice. Then what happened? Tell me, was it like a dream, and you found yourself somewhere else? What happened next? What do you see? Subject, I see this turtle chuckle. David, tell us about this turtle. Subject, it's just like a ride. David, interesting. Subject, I can climb on the back of this turtle shell. David, tell me about that. Where does the turtle take you? Subject, just really peaceful. Piercing through this veil. David, you are on the turtle's back and it's taking you through the veil? Subject, yes. David, describe that to me. Subject, it's sharp, almost like a beak, and it goes through this veil and the veil washes over me and takes away any other physical remnants, and I feel very expanded. David, are you not in your human form anymore? Subject, not in human form. David, describe your form to me. Subject, it feels mostly light. It feels like I have wings, several legs and arms. David, interesting. What do you look like? If you had to picture a creature today, describe it to me. Subject, it's like, David, hard to describe. Subject, I don't know what to say. David, give me a description of what you see. Don't try to compare. Subject, I see this light. Winged, it's moving and made of filaments that are pulsing and it glows. And then there are more that are strand-like, with many arms and many legs and wings. David, how many wings? Subject, 2. David, and how big are the wings? Subject, big. David, how big are you? Subject, sharp exhale. David, would you fit in my office? Subject, no. David, bigger than a house? Subject, yes. David, why are you in this form now after you crossed over from that life in Spain? Do you know why you're in this form? Subject, it feels very connected to that most ancient and kind ancestor plasma being. David, is he here with us now? Can we call him in? Subject, yes, we can call him in. Let him in. David, let's call him in. Subject, hey buddy. David, can you call Archangel Michael in with us too? Subject, yes, Michael is here. David, let's ask Michael this. I want you to see Michael's answers in your mind. Ask Michael where you are and why you're in this form. Tell me what he says telepathically. Subject, in this form, it's the closest to my first physical form and it's, fortifying for a long pause, a bit of a dialogue here. He said, fortifying for a difficult road ahead, and I said, why is it a difficult road? Laughter. David, tell us about this difficult road. Subject, he said, you're fortifying for a difficult road ahead, and I said, why is it a difficult road? He said, well, look at you, you can handle anything. David, that's interesting. Ask Michael if we're going to go to a council meeting for you to discuss your Spanish life. Is that life going to be reviewed? Subject: yes, well. Can you ask the question again? David: yes. I want to know how Michael thinks you did in your life in Spain. Does he have any answers for you? Subject: yes. Yes, he says, we'll have to go somewhere else to have that conversation. David: can Michael take us to that place? Subject: yes. David: good. I'm going to count from 3 to 1, and as I count down, you're going to find yourself getting closer and closer to that place. You're feeling the images becoming clearer. You're feeling the protection of your spirit guide, the ancient being, and Michael. Everything is going to be fine. As I count down to 2, I want you to find yourself in front of where you're going. As I count down to 1 in your mind's eye, I want you to tell me what you see. Subject: in a movie theater. David: describe that to me. Subject: it has steep seats. And there's a table in front of the screen, a big screen. And the turtle is still there, but it's quite small. It looks like a regular turtle now, like I could hold it in my hand. David: oh, and you rode in on it? Subject: yes. David: that's neat. He shrank down, or you got bigger. Which is correct? Subject: he shrank down. David: tell me who's sitting at the table. Subject: there's a very fierce-looking woman in a red suit with red hair. She has a nice smile. David: you said she looks fierce? Subject: yes. David: why would you think she looks fierce? Tell me. Subject: everything about her is very sharp and put together and fierce and alike. Whoa, there's a strong, respectable woman sitting there, you know? Someone who I want to be like when I grow up. David: who else is at the table? Subject: well, she's a foxy woman. Who else is at the table? David: yes, besides her. Subject: Michael's taking his seat. David: go on. Subject: and there's a lot of animals. David: why would animals be here? How does that relate to you? Subject: it's the Natural World Council, like. David: you feel that's what it's called? Subject: yes, and I'm wondering if I'm in the right room. David: we'll find out. We're all going to stand in the first row. Subject: there's people coming in behind the animals now. David: describe them. What do they look like? Subject: mumbling, a man with dark curly hair. He's there where a lion was. And there's some star beings. David: describe the star beings. Where are they from? What stars? Subject: wow. Aldebaran, Pleiades. David: any other names? Subject: Antares, Sirius. David: why are all these beings coming into the room with us? Is this for your council meeting? Subject: yes, they're here to evaluate how I did. David: I'm going to be here with you. Is Michael okay with me being at your council meeting? Subject: yes, he's fond of you. David: oh, nice. Well, let's go forward. You have all these beings here, the animals are here, Michael's here, and the well-put-together redhead. Anyone else at the table? Subject: there's a young person. A young child, girl, blonde. David: why is she at the table? Subject: she just really wants to be here, laugh. David: she doesn't have a role? Subject: she doesn't have a role, she's like, hey, what are you doing right now? And I want to be here. Laughter. David: isn't that something? How does she look? Is she like a little girl in human form? Subject: yes, I recognize her. David: oh, do you know her name? Subject: yes, her name's Avery. David: Avery. You've known her for a while from the other side, I presume? Subject: she's one of my best friend's daughters in this life. We've certainly had lifetimes together. David: that's good. It sounds like a friendly bunch. Author's notes: one might wonder how my client could have known Avery in this life and encounter her at her life review meeting. When a soul incarnates into a new life, part of their soul energy remains on the other side. This is how she was able to talk to Avery on the other side while in a hypnotic state, and know her physically in this life. Subject, yes. David, let's go forward. I want you to tell me, are we going to review your Arabic life? Subject, yes. David, how do they think you did? Subject, yes. Good. David, any lessons you didn't pass? Do you want to tell me about those? Subject, hang on just a second, I need to ask. David, take your time. Subject, I gave too much of my power to this king. He was what filled me up instead of my own power, even though I gave him so much. David, what else? What other words of wisdom do they have for you? Subject, this hearing's not about win or lose. David, do they think you had an easy life? Subject, not really. David, would they call that a challenging life, considering the other lives you have had? Subject, this feels like a particularly emotionally challenging life. So, not the same physical challenges. David, not physically challenging but more emotional in this life. Subject, yes. David, as we're sitting there, I am going to count from 3 to 1, and you're going to continue to take these images in. 3, 2, 1. You are now fully engaged, and you are aware of everyone around you from Michael, your spirit guide, and me. I want you to ask Michael very specifically how you are doing in this life as _. Is there anything he thinks you should be doing now as you go forward? Do you feel or hear anything? Subject, I'm hesitating. David, what is Michael saying? Do you want to share it? Subject, deep breath. David, I want you to relax, knowing all of this is for your highest good. Is Michael sharing anything you want to share, or do you want to keep the information to yourself? Subject, well, I feel like his responses are very quickly getting lost in the abyss of _'s narratives about herself. So, it's hard to hear. David, that's okay as you go forward and sleep. He'll come to you in your dreams. I want you to start keeping a notepad by your bed. If you wake up and it's a particularly vivid dream you remember, I want you to write it down. New messages from Michael might come through in this way. Does that sound good? Subject, yes. David, when you're looking at yourself, what color is your soul? What color do you primarily give off? Subject, blue, bluish green. David, is it a turquoise or more of a greenish blue? Subject, more of a turquoise. It feels like shades of blue. There's indigo and there's this almost iridescent violet and blue and. David, nice, that sounds very good. Subject, yes. David, let's ask Michael a simple question. In this life currently, as _ are there 1 or 2 things that Michael wants to share with you, nice and simple answers, that could help _ in this life that would propel her along on her journey? Are there any particular things? Subject, I feel this buoyancy, and it's like an encouragement to keep going. David, good. That feels reassuring, having Michael tell you that, doesn't it? Subject, yes. David, all in all, Michael is saying to keep on your journey. Subject, it feels like there's a real clearing of any shoals. Like let go of any idea I think I have about my life and just keep on the path I'm on. David, stay where you are and keep going. Subject, yes. Let go of whatever I think it might look like or become. David, is he telling you to be patient and to go with the flow? Subject, yes. David, well, that is very good advice. One thing I want to ask about is St. Pedro, and your aversion to drinking this cactus juice that you tried to stomach before. Do you see any connection to a past life? Why do you have so much difficulty drinking the juice? Tell me about that. Are there any scenes in your mind that might relate to this? Subject, it's a very visceral feeling of being force-fed. David, was that in another life? Subject, yes. David, you feel that same sort of negative energy coming up when you're getting ready to drink the cactus juice. Is that correct? Subject, my throat like closes. David, your throat closes? Subject, yes. David, what else do you feel? Subject, scared and totally helpless. David, I am going to count from 3 to 1. And each time I count down, you're going to remove all those feelings, all that aversion, that tightening in your throat, and that fear of being force-fed. I want all that to wash out of you. You have a golden suit on, and you have golden light coming all the way through the suit. You're in control. You're immortal. It is your own free will that you want to do this ceremony. So, there's no reason to allow yourself going forward to feel this fear anymore. I want that all to fade away. That was another life, that has nothing to do with this one. I want all that negative energy gone while I count down to 2. I want you to feel your unique power, knowing that you're in control of your life and it's your choice. You have the choice of whether you want to partake in the ceremony. As I count down to 1, I want all that negative energy associated with that past life of being force-fed to fade away, knowing that in this life, that will not happen. All of the negativity in your subconscious associated with that life is never going to bother you again. You're going to feel yourself able to drink the cactus juice very easily, with no fear, and you will have no throat constriction. Can you move forward and let go of the past? Subject, I still feel the throat constriction. David, I want you to let it go. Allow yourself to breathe in and out, feeling your throat opening more and allowing all the stress and anxiety from that life that's held you back from participating in the ceremony to fade away. I want your throat to relax, and when I count down from 3 to 1, on each number down, your throat is going to relax more and more, and you're going to feel this sense of immortal power come over you. You can handle the ceremony easily and you won't feel that fear anymore, and I want you to let go of it. I want you to let it drain away as I count down to 2, allowing all the fear from that life to fade away. You are no longer being force-fed, and that life is gone. I want it all to drain away and allow your throat to open, knowing that it is your choice and free will whether you want to participate in the ceremony. There's no reason to have your throat constrict. As I count down to 1, I want you to feel the power you have inside, that immortal feeling. You're feeling more and more relaxed, and you know you can now participate in the ceremony and continue along your path. I want you to listen to this recording several times before you go back to Peru for the ceremony. When you're at the event, you're going to count down to yourself to relax, and each time you count down, you're going to feel golden light sweeping over your body again, enveloping you in a protective suit. All the negative energy and subconscious thoughts you've been carrying from that life, let it go, and you're going to feel yourself growing with new vitality and strength. Can you let go of the pain from that life of captivity? Can you visualize the golden light replacing it? Can you feel your throat starting to open more? Subject, I'm starting to. David, good. I want you to feel your throat open up more and more. Going forward, when the name San Pedro enters your mind, you will feel this beautiful sense of power and control, knowing that your throat will not swell up and will not constrict. Allow your throat to open fully. You will not get sick this time. There will be no throwing up. You're going to drink it, and it's going to taste like you drank the most delicious tea laced with honey. The smell is not going to bother you after you drink. You will not get sick. It's not going to be painful or make your stomach twist inside out. Do you feel the negativity and trauma from that life fading away? Subject, yes. David, do you feel free and at peace now? Subject, yes. David, I want you to realize that you're powerful and unique. You can now walk through life as a shaman with no fear, knowing that you are here on a journey and that you have the ability as a shaman to walk in other worlds as well. You're feeling much better inside, and you're feeling excited about trying the ceremony again. You will not get sick, and you will not panic before you drink the juice, and you will feel a nice feeling of warmth enter your body afterward. Can you do that for me? Subject, yes. David, I want you to continue to relax, let that sink in your mind. You have the wise words of Michael telling you to go forward and be patient and stay on the path. Don't worry about what it might look like going forward. That's not important. What's important is sticking to your true self and purpose. Try to meditate more so you can find the answers you need. Try to journal at night when you wake up early, and visualize the council meeting in your mind with the red-haired lady and Michael. What was the name of this council again? Subject, Natural World Council. David, good. Where is this council located? Can you give me an idea? Subject, maybe the moon. It's a satellite of Earth. David, you feel it might be the moon? Subject, yes. David, what dimension is this? Third dimension or which one? Subject, rarely. David, say that again. Subject, rarely. David, what does that mean? Subject, like, occasionally there's a third dimensional aspect, but mostly it's the fifth dimension. David, that's good. I want you to relax, and I know going forward that anything with San Pedro is not going to bother you whatsoever. You're going to be fine. You're going to relax. You're going to do ceremonies safely. In other words, you're going to do research on any ceremonial concoctions that are part of the ceremony before you do anything. Subject, yes. David, good, I'm sure that is something you probably do anyway. Subject, yes. David, as I count from 1 to 5, you will wake up more and more with each number. Waking up induction ends, you are now awake. How do you feel? Subject, good. Your soul looks very pink, laughter. David, mine does. Subject, yes. David, like a healing pink? Subject, yes, like a quartz, like a rose quartz. David, great. Describe how you feel. Subject, I feel very relaxed. I feel, also very energized and excited. My heart feels a lot of peace. David, what about your stress or anxiety? Subject, not there. David, gone, right? Subject, yes. David, you feel like a whole new person almost? Subject, yes, I do actually. I feel like, that image that I described to you where I was riding on the turtle is like very present in my body. I feel very in my body, but also like I have a lot of bodies. David, good. Do you feel like you can now go back and draw on that strength? Subject, I do, yes. David, good, because that's what you want to do. Subject, yes. David, you want to visualize that. Especially when you're out in public with negative energy around you. You want to visualize that golden suit on you, and never hesitate to call Michael, Mother Mary, or your spirit guides in when you are feeling stressed or anxious, and you feel you need their protection. Subject, yes. Yeah, totally. I definitely have a lot of help. David, you want to listen to this recording again. Every time you hear it, it will reinforce what you learned today. Subject, wow, thank you so much. David, you are welcome, I enjoyed it too. Author's note, the client returned to Peru 2 months after this session to complete her shamanic ceremony. She returned and let me know she consumed the San Pedro juice with flying colors and completed the ceremony. Upon completion, she was elevated to lead her shamanic group.